I know her as Auntie. If I will call her, let me not announce her name now. Calm down, calm down. She's a business educator and analyst with over 20 years experience across agribusiness, creative industries, circular economy, manufacturing, real estate, and non-profits. As a CEO and founder of Sensia Partners Innovation Hub, she champions business model innovation, circularity, and access to early stage funding. Her consultancy portfolio includes projects with the International Trade Center, World Bank, MasterCard Foundation, GIZ, Oxfam Novib, and ECOWAS Commission. An adjunct faculty member at the Pan Atlantic University, she has trained over 10,000 entrepreneurs. She's designed award winning programs and served as a judge for major entrepreneurship competitions in Africa. A lifelong learner she is. She holds a PhD in international business with a specialization in entrepreneurship and innovation from the International School of Management Paris in 2023, a Master of Arts in Business Management from Northumbria University, UK, 2004, a Master's in Public and International Affairs from the University of Lagos, my alma mater, in 2002, and a BA as a Bachelor's in Arts in Education English from Bendel State University, Ekpoma, 1990. Can you see the trajectory? Ladies, gentlemen, we call her Auntie Helen. You call her Dr. Essie Helen Imore. Let drum roll, please. I need to loud it. Yes. I need to loud it because this woman has been making name. She's been doing amazing stuff. I knew her as my teacher. Yes, at I did LBS studies, EDC, and that's where I met her. But since then, I've loved her. I still love her. You know the beautiful thing? She's one of those people that you might not speak to in a long time. When you do, you just catch up from where you stopped. If you know Auntie Helen's granite oil, this is Auntie Helen. This is the Auntie Helen. This is she. Ladies and gentlemen, Auntie Helen, good morning to you.
Good morning, Choma.
She's
so
like,
good to see you.
This girl, man, what is this? I know. This is why I'm a daughter.
I want to know why the Auntie Helen, because it's someone that I'm saying.
Why the Auntie Helen, Abi?
Why did the Auntie Helen?
Okay, Auntie Helen, why the Auntie? It's a brand, by the way. Okay. Like I said, if you see this kuli oil, that thing's not granules. It's kuli now. It's kuli oil. She used to say it used to have. If you know that bottle, you know what I'm talking about. Auntie Helen's oil, granite oil, but it's kuli oil. Oh my gosh, I can still smell it. Okay, breathe, not food. It's about to talk about Auntie Helen herself. Now, she's asking why they call you Auntie Helen.
So why Auntie Helen? Let me cut a long story short. You know this oil you talked about?
Yes.
Actually was on a program and I met someone who was making it. And I was like, you can't sell. Bring it, I'll help you sell in Lagos. But we couldn't sell. And I said, but I'm a branding person now. Let's brand this thing. So we started looking for names, canceled so many things. And someone just called me and the person said, Auntie Helen. So I asked my colleagues, can we do this Auntie Helen? They said, perfect. That was it.
And that's how Auntie Helen became the brand.
And that's it. And because I remembered that a pastor had said, they would hear your name all over the world. So I said, maybe this pastor said they would hear you. Why can't I use my name instead of all these other names that we are looking for?
I love it.
And that's how Auntie Helen came to be.
The thing that I love about Auntie Helen is because she's always there to teach, not just teach. So I went off radio for a bit. Auntie Helen is the kind of person that will call me and say, Choma, why are you not back on radio? Okay, so what do you want to do now? Okay, talk to me about, and she's ever there, ever checking up on you to see how you're progressing in life. How do you even find time to do that? You're a very busy woman, ma. You are very busy, ma. I mean, working on projects like for international bodies like the Trade Center, the World Bank, MasterCard Foundation, GIZ. I've done a project with them, so I know how hectic it can be to do projects with some of these people. How do you find the time to check up on regular people like us? What is that thing that pushes you?
I think I've always loved taking care of people. However, sometime in 2012 or so, a colleague asked me to have I checked my strength? I was in a class during my PhD, and she was saying, have you checked your strengths, Helen? I'm not sure you know your strengths. I said, really, what's that? She said, go and do Strengths Finder. You'll see what you should be doing, what you're very good at and what you should be doing. And so I took Strengths Finder, and I discovered that, yes, what I really love doing is educating. I love explaining. I love educating. If there's a problem, if I go into somewhere and I see a problem, I'm already thinking, okay, what can I do to solve this problem?
I can attest to
that's me. So yeah,
but
that's so when I'm talking to you, just to answer that your question, when I'm talking to you, it's not work.
I know, which is why I think you're already busy as it is. So finding time to think of other people, and that's one of the reasons I really wanted to celebrate you today on Today's Woman, because you are the woman that has been, and that it still is, and it's relevant in her space. The agribusiness space is one thing, one place you're very passionate. Why are you so passionate about the agribusiness space?
First, my dad was a farmer. Before he became fashionable to be a farmer, my dad started farming, I think about 82. He had yam brands. So he took it up full time during the 1984 recession. Started first with cassava and then palm oil. And his friends used to laugh at him because my dad then used to be one of the largest, if not the largest, distributor of beer in the then Bendel states. So he wasn't worried. So can you imagine going from somebody who has a warehouse of beer, you see trucks offloading beer every day,
to
drinks,
becoming a farmer,
to now becoming a farmer, going to the village. In 1986, it was not fashionable to be a farmer. In fact, it was embarrassing to be a farmer.
True.
And I actually had one of his friends say to him that, how can you, and that was the chief. I said, how can a whole you chief, said it in Robo, how can you be going to farm now? Egua. And my dad was like, what's wrong with it? But guess what? My dad later there was a time he won several awards as the largest cassava farmer in Bendel State. Because in 1986, 87, 88, it wasn't sexy to be a farmer. If I hope I'm not
when you say,
you.
no, when you say Bendel, even I'm like, Bendel State,
yeah.
that's
Yes. So I always had at the back of my mind that I saw how my dad pivoted from being a big trader to being a farmer, and he sustained him for more than 30 years before he died.
Wow.
And now, of course, we are all now
it's now pushed to be a farmer.
On it. So now it's trendy to be a farmer. So it's not all those photograph thing. The real work on the field is hard. A few times we went to the farm with him to harvest corn. I think for him, he just wanted us to see what he was doing, because I always enjoyed myself. So till now, I just don't like going to the farm. Right? But I like selling. Yeah.
Yes.
So I've for more than 40 years, long before it became a thing, I had seen farming.
You went from studying education English to going to do your master's in public and international affairs, moving on from that to getting a master's in business management, from there again to wow Esma, please ma, I mean seriously, and now you have a PhD in international business. I remember when we saw the doctorate, I was like, hey, finally. Like, you have been doctorating before you got the doctorate, as far as I'm concerned. But what pushes you to keep learning? Because some of us don't have the go to school brain, to be quite honest. But what does push you to keep going?
I enjoy it.
You enjoy going to school?
I enjoyed reading. As a child growing up, my mom used to buy a lot of books for us. So I enjoyed reading. I loved reading. It's my thing. Even till now, I read. I read all sorts of things. You know, my son was writing, when my son was preparing for WAEC, we bought some physics textbooks for him, some books for him. So I saw the physics one. I said, let me even read about physics, especially in this age of AI, quantum computing, quantum physics.
Yes.
And I studied AI, quantum computing, and I started reading about physics. And my son was looking at me like, Mommy, why are you reading physics? I said, I am studying artificial intelligence. I've heard about quantum computing, and I know that physics and mathematics are very key. So I want to understand the reason behind those things. I started reading his physics textbook. at that point, my son gave up on me.
Honestly speaking, if I was your son, I'd be like,
my
this woman.
son gave up on me.
Which work do you want to collect from us?
Why you read? I said, I just want to know so that when people are talking about this artificial intelligence thing, I can also explain it properly for business owners and also understand how it affects me as a business owner, and then how the whole entire system works. It's not magic, right? It's training of the systems. So when I understood it, so I like learn. I know about artificial intelligence, so I know what I would do with it. It's not going to stop me from being what I am. I'm not going to now wake up today and say I'm an AI specialist, right? Because I understand.
Even though you can be.
Even though I could be, but that's not my calling.
I mean, but you've ventured into different industries that I'm a little concerned right now. Like, where are you going next? Because I mean, agribusiness, creative industry, the circular economy, manufacturing, real estate. Come on, where are we going next?
No.
What is your forte in all of this?
No, Chioma, I do only one thing, and that's business development. I started my career in 1991 in advertising. 91 after NYC. So advertising is kind of industry where you work with different kind of clients.
True.
And and I was account manager, right? So you have to research the business that you're working on. So I think that sort of prepared me for what I'm doing now. So I work with different kinds of clients, right? But really what I do is business development. It's relationship management. It's making connections. It's understanding how things work.
I dare ask, what do you do for fun?
What do I do? I watch movies. I watch movies. I read all sorts. I'm on Medium a lot. I write a lot. Because if you are going to write well, I learned that from my PhD. If you are going to write very well, you have to read very broadly.
Now, as a mom, you're a mom, a business professional, and then you are also, I'm sure you make out time for family and friends, because I'm a friend and I've been able to steal away your time. At least I've taken a couple of hours from you from time to time. So how do you get to merge all of this together and still make out time for family?
Okay, so even before I met an Harvard professor called Arthur Brooks, he says for you to have a happy life, there's something called the science of happiness. There are 4 areas of your life. I hope I get it right. So if I don't get it right, you can check it up on Google or ChatGPT. There's a gentleman called Arthur Brooks, and he said that for you to be happy, your entire life has to be balanced. Your faith, your family, your friends, and how you serve others. I think also work. I can't remember. That's what I'm saying. But it
faith,
sort of
family,
captures
friends.
it that your faith, your family, your friends, and your work, and how you serve others. You have to find a balance. You can't be all about work. You can't be all about family. You also can't be. I mean, as I'm here now, my son is at home. He's not feeling too well, but I said to him, I have to go to this studio. He's like, okay, mommy. I have to be here, because if I don't come because my son's not feeling well, I'll be unhappy. I'll feel like, I'll have to call you and say, Chioma, I'm sorry, No, so I have to, and then you have help. So you have to balance all. You have to find a rhythm that works, because balancing means everything gets equal time. No,
you can't.
Everything doesn't get equal time. Sometimes I don't talk to people. Like yesterday, I was up till around 1 or so, because I needed to finish some work. I'd been busy during the day. So you just have to find what works for you. I'm not a very prescriptive person.
Right.
In terms of, even when I talk about things, I believe in contextualization. So I try to make the best of the context in which I find myself.
It's such a beautiful thing to know Auntie Helen, and to know her beyond the business professional, to see the person that she is and the person that she strives to help other people be. I really appreciate that about you. Auntie Helen, I had to, again, I've talked about Anti-Helen oil. Before somebody asked me, where do I find it? What happened to Anti-Helen oil?
I think there was a disruption. I was working with a partner, right? Like I said to you, I met someone while I was on a program who was a primary producer, but he didn't have access to markets.
So you had
markets? So I gave him access to market, and in less than 1 year, that gentleman sort of like doubled his capacity in Bomosho. But unfortunately, when things started happening with disruptions, the farmer, inconsistencies in supply,
and then COVID-19,
he jackpot.
Oh.
The guy jackpot, and it was so difficult to maintain the same rhythm with
Right.
the other people. There was a lot of inconsistent. We lost some money because the people who you paid, and they tell you, when we're coming, the granules was hijacked, or we were disrupted, all sorts of things. After a while, I was like, before this thing kill me, let me just kill it, right? So again, it's a very difficult decision, but I was able to do that because I was tracking progress. We're tracking our finances. We're tracking how much we're spending, what we're getting, the few misses. And I said, no, I can't do this. I can't continue doing this. I'll burn out and go completely bankrupt.
Right.
Trying to open the doors, And so we pivoted, and I went back to trying to do palm oil. So
you know what I love?
that's
Another
where
thing I love about Auntie Helen, she doesn't really, how do I say, these are the kind of conversations that some people will find hard to have a conversation about out in the open, but you're not scared of that. I'm able to ask you that because I know that it's a learning curve, and you're willing to teach and to share what you learned from that experience. As a woman in today's world, and trying to I won't say balance because it's hard, but trying to manage the family, trying to manage, work and all of that. From when you started and now, what has changed? What are we facing now that we didn't used to face? And how are we able? How were you able to surmount it back then?
I think number one, right? What I see is social media has sold so many lies to so many people. We bring a facade of perfection. And so I've experienced people who are doing very well, oh. They'll be feeling like, I'm not doing enough. I don't have this. I'm like, no, you are doing well. Look at what you're doing. Look at what you started. Some people don't even know what to do. They don't know where to say, but you are doing. They'll be like, I'm telling you, you're just saying it to encourage me. I say, no. I've walked your path. I know what you are going through. So this thing that you think is nothing, this your 10,000 year, 100,000 year, 1 million year, that you think is nothing, it's a big deal. And I'm so happy to say that in the past 10 years or 11 years that I've been involved in entrepreneurship education, I've seen people evolve. I've seen people who have stayed the hard way. Where did we get this impression from that everybody has to be driving a jet, flying private jet, or going on summer holiday? I always tell my son, I say, Omo, just relax. I did not travel cross border. I didn't have an international passport until I was 20, and I didn't travel with that one. I got my first real international passport at 32. And nothing has changed. Now to travel safe now, wahala.
My sister.
I said, so don't put yourself under pressure. So a lot of people are under pressure, trying to meet up with friends. Of course, me too, I'm falling. I'm not gonna lie. The thing they taught you one time, you're not gonna even know. So now I'm more self-aware. I appreciate what I have. I have set my goals, my vision. I can see where I'm going, and I've learned that if I'm consistent and I'm not distracted, even when I make mistakes, I can get back on track.
I love that. And I love that you mentioned self-awareness. What is self-awareness for a woman, a young lady today, in your opinion?
It's knowing yourself first, knowing, like you now, Chioma, if you permit me to use it.
Yes, please.
I would say knowing Chioma. Chioma is a very outgoing, excitable, gregarious person, excellent in elocution. You know yourself, right? That's your strength. You're good there. You're excellent there. Sometimes you know the things that make you angry. If people do things sloppily, it might upset you. If people are too straight, it might upset you. So you should know yourself. You have to evaluate yourself the way you evaluate other things. So you know your first, you know your strengths, you know what you know and what you don't know, and be happy with what you know, and maybe outsource what you don't know or look for help. So we need to just know. A lot of people are not self-aware. So for me, I think you need to know yourself, know what you carry, know what you are good at. Somebody say God no dey leave bad pikin with, no guys as pikin bad rich, God deliver with one good thing. All of us have something good in us.
It no get as speaking bad rich, God no go leave am with one good thing.
Yes.
I love it.
So what's that good thing you carry? Be comfortable in it. Be proud in your skin. Love yourself. Just be comfortable with it. Sometimes people will say, do you know they're doing this party? They didn't invite you. I say, better for me. I don't have to worry about what to wear.
I agree with you.
I say, maybe they not invite me, sir.
You know,
they know him. I don't want last minute. Maybe they no tell me, so I don't have to worry about going there.
my friend might be listening, but one of them sent me a message about Ashwebi yesterday, and I thought, my dear, I will come, but Ashwebi is gonna be out. If you are listening, I'm sorry, I love you. I'll still come for your wedding, but Ashwebi on the side.
Out.
Now, and I'm asking again, one of the reasons I love about today's woman, the reasons I love today's woman is the fact that there are a lot of young, impressionable young ladies out there now. And social media doesn't help matters.
Hey.
Social media is pushing all sorts. I don't know if you were listening.
I heard it.
And there's a lot of things that are going on with the young people that they still